All right, so this branded merch company had a salesperson trying to generate their leads, but they didn't get good results, and they wanted someone who was experienced in the outbound for branded merch game to come in and run their cold emails. So we came in, generated more than 30 qualified leads in 2 weeks, and today I'm going to be breaking down everything we did for them so that you know exactly how to implement this for yourself and start generating wealth as soon as humanly possible. So here's what we did. First, we figured out who's the right person to target. We built the right infrastructure to reach them, and we wrote a specific message that I'm going to show you a snippet of that absolutely crushed it, and prospects were super, super interested. So let's get into it. In terms of finding the right prospects, so we basically found people who needed the offer the most. So we spoke to the client, we kind of understood who actually needs the offer the most, because it was a branded merch company that basically created apparel, and they were really into like the stylish stuff. And so what we found was that they got a lot of their clients from CPG brands who were already selling merch and were selling merch basically through online stores. So what their main offer was creating branded merchandise for CPG brands who were basically going to sell it to increase their LTV per client, lifetime value. And so we had a choice between both, and honestly, the best fit was the brands who were already selling it. We ran campaigns to both, but brands who were already selling branded merch showed that they were basically in the game. It validated that their customers actually wanted it. So the demand was proven for them to sell merch. But the problem is their current setup was a mess. So the client told us that, a lot of them are probably handling it completely in-house, the store inventory in the back room, packaging, the shipping, everything themselves. There's not a system, not a partner. And so that's the main pain point. And on top of that, our client, like I said, had a real edge where they were just producing like, McDonald's t-shirt or, CPG brand with a t-shirt. They understood style. They knew what would be the difference between you buying a t-shirt for a brand just because it came for free and you're just going to throw it away versus t-shirt you actually get to wear. So that's a completely different conversation. And so how we did our targeting was we decided to reach the brands who already had a store. We built the list and we had an AI go through all of them inside of a tool called Clay, go through every single company to filter for the ones that already had an online store selling merch inside, or like apparel inside of their store. And so we now know who we were targeting. So we ran the filter, kind of find out, okay, these guys were selling merch. And now this gave us a list of prospects to reach that were most likely to buy. Now, how did we actually reach those prospects? So we set up an email infrastructure that avoided landing in spam in a lot of cases. A lot of people's main problem is they plug in one domain inside of Apollo, start blasting. They don't even hit the inbox. Prospects don't even see their message. And so this is how we absolutely obliterated that scenario from ever happening. So we set up an enterprise grade email system that was sending more than 1,000 emails basically per day. And so we set up secondary lookalike domains on Porkbun, which are basically domains that look similar to the client's domain but aren't the same, just to protect their main domain from ever getting blacklisted. And then we set up multiple Google email accounts across each domain so that each one can send 20, not 30 per day, just to look natural. So, if you probably send like 10 to 15 emails a day yourself, probably. So then we configured the DNS records, not through Cloudflare, but just in general, everything was kind of set up so that our emails look legitimate. These are some boring technical steps, but they're super important. And then before launching, we ran a 2-week AI warm-up pool, which was basically a process where our accounts send and receive messages with other inboxes just to make them look more human to Google and Microsoft. And then after 2 weeks, you're clear to launch with a good sender reputation. And then we connected all the inboxes, domains to Smartlead to automate the whole sending process, rotate between inboxes, all that fancy stuff. But then the interesting part is the custom lead management tool. So we plugged everything right into Smartlead, the automation tool to send the emails. But the interesting part is we had a custom lead tool that we built basically in Replit. Replit is an AI software builder. But the interesting part is that it basically allowed us to pull in leads in real time, get their phone number using a tool called Prospio on Clay, and the salesperson got an instant notification to call the lead as well. So it was a super streamlined process into responding to leads quickly while they were still warm so that we don't waste any time, which is a big problem. A lot of people are like, replying at the end of the day or something, or just not replying immediately when the lead comes in, which is a big mistake. You need a system. You don't need someone who's managing an inbox. You need someone who's like dialed in, a salesperson. So, and that's their only responsibility. We have that in-house. So just in case you want to work with us. So yeah, prospect replies to the email, gets pulled into Replit. We enrich their mobile number with Prospeo, not Clay. The salesperson gets a notification as well. Salesperson calls them. Super cool. And so that's how we were basically able to reach the prospects and book meetings. Now, what did we actually say in our messaging? Because this is like 60% of the results. So, this isn't obviously a accurate measure, but it's pretty good. So this is where 60% of the results came from, because the angle was simple, it was direct, and we weren't trying to convince anyone that merch was a good idea. They already knew that. So we just offered them a better version of what they did according to the client's value prop. So we showed them, hey, we know you're selling merch, right? We showed them a specific product like LA apparel heavyweight hoodies, because instead of saying we do apparel, we can immediately show that we understood their customer base and what they actually sell, and that we have style, and then handle all the fulfillment so you don't have to. So, and we also included other products, not just LA apparel, and then remove the pain, right? So we'll handle everything, shipping, everything, so you don't, have to. We take everything off your plate, basically. And so this message hit because we were showing them we had good product quality, right? Premium products that their fans would actually want to wear, instead of just saying we do apparel. And then operations, so inventory management, everything showed it, and we were able to manage it for them. And what we didn't do is pitch a catalog. We didn't ask them for a discovery call. We didn't send the generic, hey, we help merch brands with blah, blah, blah. No. We showed them we did our research. We showed them we knew what they were selling. We showed them what they needed to upgrade, and that will handle everything. That is a partner, not a vendor, and that is what got the results. So in simple, we target the right people, build the right system to reach them without landing and spam in a lot of cases, and speak to their actual needs and actual value prop based on what past clients have bought, because past behavior indicates future behavior, and that is how you get incredible results with outbound. Now, if you want us to build you this cold email system for your branded merch company, find your value prop, reach the right people, book you sales meetings, handle the whole process for you from end to end, and book you specifically 20 to 30 plus qualified meetings with mid-market and enterprise prospects potentially who are actively looking for merch, you can click the link below, book a call with me, and I'm going to discuss the outbound strategy with you. Take care. Have a good day. Peace.